And so I get home, and after all these tests, it's like, hey man, it's just gonna go away over time. I get home, I'm laying down, and like I turn over to my side, and like I'm wheezing a little bit, and my wife is telling me, she's like, man, you need to go to the ER.
Welcome back to another episode of the Broncos Avenue Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Amir Farrell, with my co-host, Jordan Mackey, a.k.a. J-Mac. And as you guys can tell, we have guests on the show. I'd like to welcome back to the show for your Denver Broncos safety, PJ Locke, fresh off a 2-year, $7 million contract extension. I see you, man. It's great to have you back on the show, brother. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Just started my training. I'm super grateful to be back with the Broncos, man. Thank you guys for the opportunity to be back on the show.
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of I was so happy to hear that you was coming back on, man. And hey, look, you had a great season. Well-deserved contract for sure, man. For sure.
I appreciate it, man. I'm so
So
glad.
glad
I'm
you're
glad
back.
to have it.
Man, we had you on last year for those of the listeners that don't know, and you're definitely one of the most genuine players I've ever talked to. You're a really good dude, and it's good to see all the success that's come with it because I can tell you're a genuinely good person. And want to get to ask you a few more things today. First off, like I said, we had you on the show last year. We talked a lot about you becoming the best version of yourself on the field, especially when it comes to when the opportunity presents itself. And you did exactly that last season. I mean, just in terms of some statistics, 3 sacks, 5 PBUs, an interception, 2 forced fumbles, 53 tackles in just 8 games started. What do you believe helped you take that massive leap in 2023 to becoming Denver's new franchise safety?
Oh man, over the off season, I just had the mindset, man. I just had the ultimate confidence in the off season, and most of that just came from understanding the game. And it's credit to Justin Simmons, Kareem Jackson, and my DB coach, really. And just I feel like over the years, you just putting in so much work, and finally, I think everything just started really coming together, and it just clicked in my head. And when the opportunity, presented itself, I was confident. I just stepped on the field, and you know, it was second nature at that point. So, man, my confidence just skyrocketed.
Yeah, I mean, Amir said it best. We talked about it last time, how you were really vocal about, just waiting for that opportunity and just getting the best of what came. And, with the Kareem suspension during the season, I'm not gonna lie, man, you stepped right up, you made plays. And it's just one play in particular I want to ask you about, going back to the Green Bay game, where on the last drive, Jordan Love and the Packers are driving, and you kind of sealed the game with the game-winning interception. Can you kind of take us through, with that, how that play made you feel, what the moment was like, and and how after that, that game kind of set the tone for the Broncos defense for the rest of the season, having a historic, turnaround.
Yeah, man, I knew the game was on the line. I knew it was gonna be some type of passing play. In that play, I was in the half, and once I seen most of the time when I'm in a half, my read is ball of one. When I say ball of one is I'm just really I'm going as soon as the ball hikes, my eyes go to one. I knew he took an inside release, so he wasn't running a fade route. And once he canceled out, I knew like I could get back over to my half, right? And I can kind of shrink the field. And once I seen Jordan Love look across the field, I just took off, and I just knew he was gonna throw that ball. And at that point, man, when I seen the ball in the air, I was like, man, it's mine. So after I caught the pick and everything, I don't know, it was just a lot of emotions just came down on me, man, because I was, I started the season on IR, and
Yeah.
man, it was tough. It was super tough because I was having a super good training camp, and I just felt like everything was just the rug was just pulled right up under me. So I just felt all those emotions right there, and especially like, finally getting my first interception in NFL with it being like my 4th or 5th year in the league. And um, man, I don't know, it was just a surreal moment. And I was just like, man, I can dig this. I can get used to this.
Dude, you were like I don't want to say I feel like you were kind of one of the good luck charms because at that point the Broncos are 1-5, and then you make that play, and I mean the Broncos didn't lose till week 13. They went on a 5-game winning streak. What was the feeling like in that locker room after you made that play? And obviously Justin Simmons spoke very, very highly of you in that post game presser. What was like hearing all those guys that you look up to and all the words that they said about you, and then just that feeling during that winning streak? Because I know a lot of Broncos country felt like they're on top of the world.
Man, obviously we had private conversations, me and Justin, and also Kareem. And the thing about it is, man, they knew all along. They knew all along what I had inside of me, and all I needed was just the opportunity to showcase it. So it was a super cool moment for all of us, really, because like us three, we were like super close. Even today, like we all in a group message, and we pretty much chat every single day. You know, so yeah, I mean they knew, and I think the world is starting to see. And the thing about it is, man, I just feel like I still haven't even scratched the surface. That was just a warm up.
Yeah, man. I remember watching that play, and I remember like my like a lot of my friends was asking me, man, who's the number 6 for y'all, bro? Like that was kind of crazy. And I just had to I just had to tell him, bro. I'm like, dude, I've been telling y'all about this guy, man. He's been waiting for this opportunity. But yeah, so after the game, like Amir said, we didn't lose a game for another like I don't even know how many weeks. Like we went on a
Mm.
5-game win streak after that. What what like directly led into like the defense turnaround that took place because they start off the season kind of slow, and then y'all started after that Green Bay game. Y'all picked it up. Think y'all started averaging like it was 4 takeaways a game. You
Yeah,
beat the Chiefs, you beat Buffalo, and I mean the defense just making plays all around. A lot of guys stepped up.
yeah, man. I just think we started to figure out what works for us. That's the biggest thing. Once you figure out like all of the logistics of the coverages you're running, and you kind of get down to the nitty gritty and what works for you, now like you're able to figure out all the soft spots and just a little bit of coverage you run. You just get used to that. Then you find out like teams start to run beaters because they see you running these coverages, and now you go to practice, and practice is like straight. You have a period of practice where it's just straight beaters for a certain coverage, and now you're just getting prepared for everything. And once you getting the team into a passing situation, now VJ can start throwing off all his magical play calls,
Yeah.
so he can start having fun with it. And at that point, we all having fun. And now you happy for this person to make a play, this person make a play, and like now it's just all coming together, man. And I feel like, man, it was just for a long period of time. That's just what it was.
So I gotta ask. I know J Mac already touched on it a little bit. One of your good friends, Kareem Jackson, who was on your teammate the last I don't know how many years, and he obviously was suspended twice last year. Totaled around I think it was like 90K in fines. It was ridiculous. The refs and NFLPA were a little bit questionable with it. I won't speak on that too much, but how was that like to see like behind closed doors and everything, like the way the whole situation was playing out? Because it was kind of crazy to see that, because I don't think it's been a while since we've seen a player actually get treated like that, like publicly.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. I'm not gonna get into too much detail,
Yeah.
but I know it's for the locker room, man. Kareem he's a team captain. He's a guy that bridged the gap between the young and the old, and he's like well respected in the locker room. It's like he's the OG, and everybody gravitates towards him. And when he wasn't in the locker room, we felt just like an empty space. And I know for him, it hurt him even more because he loves the game of football, and his integrity, like the league was kind of messing with his integrity of the game. And he's never been a dirty player. Obviously he's always been a hard hitter and stuff like that, and we know times has changed. But some of those situations, man, it's just nothing you can do about it. A person body, when he catching the ball, he's landing, his body just goes a certain type of way. And once you already kind of like closing in on a tackle and you aiming down on him, like sometimes like stuff just happens. And it just sucks, man, that you know there's no it's a lot of gray area in it, and they try to make it seem like it's not. So I don't know. I don't want to get in too much into it, but like just know like that it was a tough situation for him for sure, but for us also because like I said, man, he's our team leader.
Yeah, man, that whole time period it was rough, and I do hate it the way, like I really do hate the way that he was treated and he was made out to be around the league, and a lot of people had just trying to label him as a dirty player. And anybody who knows Broncos and anything about Kareem Jackson, he's not a dirty player.
Right.
But I want to talk about a story that a lot of people don't know about you, especially in Broncos country. The whole week, the Lions game. You
Oh,
were You were questionable, man. You were like, I remember the whole week we were like on the pod saying like, man, PJ's got to play because it was a huge game for us, and we were like, man, we kind of need him because at the time we're thin at safety. I remember you
Mm-hmm.
questionable all week, and then the story came out kind of after the game that you weren't even cleared to fly by the team, and then
Mm-hmm.
you just took matters into your own hands and got in the RV and drove all the way from Denver to Detroit. So I want you to kind of just tell your side of the story and just talk us through what all happened.
Oh man, so it kind of started the Chargers game. It did start the Chargers game, man. It was a hit. It was like a third down play. They ended up running the ball towards our sideline, and I hit Austin Eckler as he was going down. And his helmet, as I was going in for the hit, his helmet got under my chin strap and hit me right in my neck, like right in my throat. And um, I got back to the sideline, and like I was kind of like coughing. I kind of started, spitting blood and everything. And I was like, man, what the hell? And my voice started to go away as the game went on. And, I didn't really think much of it. I was like, man, I just got hit right in the neck. So I'm pretty sure like this is like the effects of it. So, I wasn't thinking much of it. So after the game, I'm like, man, my chest is kind of tight. I'm telling my trainers, my chest kind of tight. And they was like, okay, they gave me like some medicine and everything. So we got on the flight, I went to sleep. And the next morning, and I woke up and like I had like shortness of breath a little bit. And I was like, man, what is going on? So they already had like some medical stuff lined up for me to go get tested and everything. So they wanted to check my voice was really messed up. Like it sounded like I don't know, I just had like air coming out my mouth. It was really crazy. And so we ended up going to take a test and everything. And I don't know, it's like this little liquid they make you take, and they could see it go down through like an X-ray, and they wanted to see if like there was any leakage, and it wasn't showing leakage. They said they could tell like I had like a small leakage of air though. So after that, we ended up taking another test, and I'm trying to remember. My bad. I'm trying to remember. Anyway, we ended up taking another test, and they were just saying like, yeah, man, I think the hit caused like some air to leak from your throat, like your esophagus or something like that, or your airway, and it got in your neck. So that's why your voice sounds like that. And so I get home, and after all these tests, it's like, hey man, it's just gonna go away over time. I get home, I'm laying down, and like I turn over to my side, and like I'm wheezing a little bit, and my wife is telling me, she's like, man, you need to go to the ER. And so I ended up going to the ER. They checked me again, and everything came back, positive. I mean, everything came back negative. Everything was good. And but they said they can see like the air is around, like trapped in my chest. So I go to facilities next day. They have something else set up for me. So we go see another doctor, and they was like, yeah, we need to perform like some type of procedure on you. So they put me under anesthesia, and they stuck basically like a camera down my throat just to make sure like I don't have anything going on with my heart, my chest. So after anesthesia, they say everything looks, fairly well, but we do see some air that's trapped around your heart. That's why you having like shortness of breath. So she was saying like it should go away. She was like, this is like Wednesday before the game. And it's like it probably should go away, but I recommend you that you don't fly. I'm not sure about playing because I've never really seen this before. So that's kind of like to your discretion, but I do recommend you don't fly. So, my trainer's I'm kind of looking at my trainers like, okay, what we gonna do? Like, so man, we're gonna have to find like an RV or something. And hey, that's what we did, man. So, I kind of practiced a little bit Thursday, and then Friday I practiced a little bit more. I ran a little bit more. Then Saturday, I guess Saturday was a game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we ended up leaving like at 4 o'clock that Friday, and hopped on an RV, drove all the way to Detroit, and I tried to treat it as if it was a game. Like, I mean, obviously it's a game, but like a game week. And I went to like we was at the hotel, and around 10 o'clock, I kind of cut everything off, tried to go to sleep, and like I literally could not sleep. Like it was bad because the road was just so bumpy. I could literally, when I was sleeping, I could hear everything around me. So I didn't get any type of deep sleep at all. We ended up getting to the hotel around maybe like 12:31. As soon as I got off, I had the trainers like kind of take me into the back, and they gave me like a, I don't know, like a flush out massage to try to get everything out of me from the travel. And right after that, it took probably about 30, 45 minutes. I went upstairs and got dressed, and it was time for the first bus to head
Damn.
to the game. So,
Damn.
so yeah, man, like, man, this whole time I'm trying to find like some type of encouragement, some type of inspiration.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a spiritual guy, so like I'm reading the Bible and everything, and I just get like, man, it's gonna be a great story, man. You're gonna go out here, you're gonna ball out. Man, we ended up getting our ass whooped. We ended up getting whooped. I didn't play the best game, and I was just like, boy, what is going on? Like, what do I take from this? I don't know, man. So it was a crazy situation. You just think it's gonna be like this Cinderella ending, and you're like, no, we end up going out there getting our ass beat down.
Hey man, sometimes that's how life goes, man.
Yeah,
At least
man.
you
That's
learned
Yeah,
a whole good lesson from all that. But that's crazy, especially on a short week.
yeah.
Literally playing
that's
on
a
a short
crazy
week with
story.
those conditions.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It was a wild situation.
Yeah, man. Nah, shout out to you because I'm like a lot of players wouldn't have even like, did all like got in the RV and drove down there for the game. A lot of players would have just stayed home and try to feel better, man. I mean, that's an insane story.
Man, it was 17 and a half hours or something like that. It
Whew.
was, and then crazy thing about that, it's like right after the game, I had to get right back on RV to head back. So it was ridiculous,
Oh
man.
my.
Yeah.
So going over to some more positive memories. What was your favorite moment from last season? If you had to pick one, obviously that Green Bay. If the Green Bay game is your favorite moment, what would you say is like your second favorite?
I would say Green Bay is definitely my favorite because it's obviously because the situation like after the game, me and Justin had like a little private talk,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I don't want to get into that. I want to ask for
Yeah.
him for confirmation before I want to even talk about that. But yeah, man, that kind of, I don't know. I think we kind of grew closer after that situation, and yeah, it was like a surreal moment that I will never forget. I'm pretty sure he'll never forget either. But anyway, the second moment would be probably the Browns game because I think even that week I had an ankle injury leading up to that game, and I didn't know if I was gonna play for sure because like I just didn't want to rush back. But I think like literally the day of the game, I woke up and I was like, "Oh, it's ready." It was ready. So I didn't practice a lot through the week, and I went in there with like little preparation as far as like physical preparation, a lot of mental preparation, and I went in that game and and played fairly well, and actually got my first sack that game too. So yeah, that was one of like my favorite moments too. That sack.
Yeah. Speaking about sacks, it's so I want to ask you. Obviously, this past year's coaching staff was very different than the last year's coaching staff. Speaking from a defensive standpoint, what was like, in your opinion, the major differences in the coaching staffs from like Evero's staff to Vance Joseph and just kind of as a whole.
Uh, I think Sean, he has a pedigree, right? I mean, he kind of runs the system a little bit differently, and um, I would say he's a bit of a player's coach. He's also mixed that with like his kind of something like a old school ways, right?
Mhm.
And I think as far as um, I think as far as defense, I mean it's a similar defense, right?
Mhm.
Um, Evero and VJ are under the same coaching tree, which is Vic Fangio. So we run a lot
Mhm.
of similar things. I think VJ puts his own twist to it. He's a little bit more sporadic. He's a little bit more of attacking style. He'll come with like some crazy blitzes and stuff like that every now and then. But for the most part, like the base coverages are pretty much the same. You might have like different details within the coverage that are different, but for the most part, as long as you have like the base down, you're good. So I
Mhm.
wouldn't say it's too much different from that. You still feel really comfortable, but I think whatever, like when in certain situations, you have to figure out what coach is like, And throughout the course of the year, like I started to figure out what VJ likes. I'm like, okay, I can kind of predict what he's gonna call in certain situations. So once you figure out that, now you kind of like you see it eye to eye, you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
So and obviously this is my first year actually playing a lot, so I could, really pick up on those type of things.
hmm So, as a UT guy yourself, obviously the team has Caden Stearns already. They brought in Malcolm Roach. They re-signed Lil Jordan Humphrey. Um, what is your thoughts on just the Denver Longhorns? The Denver Longhorns right now.
Oh man, I think it's a pretty cool situation. Might be one of the craziest situations I've been a part of. Because we literally all played together. My last year there, we was all there. We played Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. We win that game, and we felt like we was getting Texas back to where it needed to be. And then obviously they kind of went on and kind of was inconsistent. But other than that, man, I think just the team chemistry. We played together before, and that chemistry kind of goes a long way. We know how to communicate with each other. We know how to trust each other, and even off the field, it doesn't just start on the field. It starts
Mhm.
off the field. We already have that, so I think that would go a long way in building.
And then Brandon Jones, completely forgot to mention him. What do you kind of see for you guys as like a big time duo this upcoming season? I know a few people are excited to see that, including myself. Obviously, they just signed him to a 3-year deal, so both you guys are on multi-year contracts. Feel like it's going to be very beneficial for, like you said, you guys already have the off the field. So on the field, how do you feel like you guys are going to kind of become as a top safety duo in the NFL?
Yeah, I think we'll be pretty good, man. I think a lot of people forget about Caden Stearns, man. I think
hmm
Caden can play. I also think JL Skinner can play, and obviously Turner Hill's coming back from injury. So I don't know, man. It's all up for grabs. We don't know who's gonna be the starter, so I'm gonna put that there. But um, as far as that though, I think we'll all be fine, man. Just because, like I said, me and Brandon, we have that chemistry. And Brandon played in the same system, with Fangio, so he knows how everything is run. And also, Brandon's versatile, so he can play. He can play nickel. He can play dime. He can play. You can put him at corner. I feel like he has the feet to do that, and he can. He's really, really good coming off the edge. He could blitz his butt off. And I seen that early on because like he blocked a few punts in college, and obviously you got to be able to bend the corners and stuff like that to be able to block the punt. And I seen that early on. So I know he was during track. I know he had to be like a third leg or something like that on the 4x1 because because I don't know. He just had his speed hit different on that type of stuff. But yeah, man, I just think it goes a long way when you already have trust for one another. Now all we got to do is like to see in OTAs is um how the chemistry looks during the play calls and stuff like that. We know it's going to be off the field and all that type of stuff, but can we can we read each other's mind on the field, with this new system? So
Yeah, I kind of wanted to ask about you and Brandon Jones specifically. Both of y'all are really good blitzing safeties. I think if I'm not wrong, I think you said like some Broncos record for like the most sacks by a DB. Like I think through
oh
a
yeah,
certain amount
yeah,
of
yeah.
games.
I think
Yeah,
it was just three games in a row, something like that with a sack. So
yeah. I remember it was something like that. I know you say you don't know who's gonna be the starter or anything like that, but do you like do you kind of have like a certain picture in your mind of how like the defense is going to be between like just between you and Brandon, like one of you guys is going to be mostly like in the box attacking or something like that.
well, we kind of play just hash marks. That's how it's been for us. It's how it's been for me for the past, you know, 4 or 5 years. It's just hash marks. Depending on where the ball is on the hash, that's gonna dictate if you're gonna be in the box, if you're gonna be in the post, in a one high defense. So I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna play out, but for sure you can't be just one dimensional in the
Yeah.
defense that we play. So I know VJ is gonna try to utilize all our skill sets, and it's a good problem to have. But I know it's tough because it's a lot of us, man. So we can we
Yeah.
can all play. So yeah, I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm gonna have the same mindset as I did going in last year, and and look to do a little bit more, honestly.
Well, PJ, thank you so much for hopping on the show again, man. It was a blast talking to you. Do you want to leave off with anything with for Broncos country heading into next season, just for like yourself and the team?
Yeah, man. I just know everybody's kind of frustrated. We've been in the playoff drought, and obviously just kind of trusting Sean, man. And you see his background. He's won a Super Bowl before. He's been, a very successful coach, and I think we just all got to buy into what he's trying to do. And I'm feeling the same way. I'm trying to get to the playoffs. I'm trying to get to the Super Bowl. So we just got to buy in and trust the process.
Yeah, I mean, I can think I speak for everybody when I say I want us to make the playoffs, and I feel like we got a little bit of a road ahead of us. But I feel like with Sean and a lot of the young players that we got, I feel like we're still kind of headed in the right direction. Just got to be
Yeah,
patient.
man. We can only control what we can, man.
Yeah.
So I can only control what I can, which is, making sure I'm doing all my due diligence in the off season, and when the season comes around, that I'm, trying to be the best version of myself for the team. So, hey, it's a journey. It's a journey.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, man. Looking forward to your upcoming season. Wishing nothing but the best for you. God bless you and your family. Thanks, like I said, for hopping back on the show. If you're listening to today's episode on YouTube, please like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel. Let us know who you want on the show next. Please turn notifications on as well. But with that being said, I'm your host, Amir Farrell, with my co-host, J Mac, and today's amazing guest, Broncos safety PJ Locke. To the next one. Peace out, everybody.
Peace out.
God bless.